All right, so I want to welcome everybody to All About Apps part number 2. This is different from yesterday's class. This is for Captain's Club members only. That's why it wasn't in the daily program. We're going to be talking a majority of today's class about Google Photos, because it's something I normally only talk about in the iLounge, but due to a lot of these encryption things that are going on, I want to make sure that you have backups of all of the things that you need backups of. Does that make sense to us now? But first I want to talk a little bit more about the App Store. Now this is relative to iPhones and iPads and Androids and all of the other devices like that. But I've got the App Store, and there's new apps that come out all the time. And here's something that's very interesting about the App Store. On the featured page, almost every single week, in every single App Store, the Apple one, the Google one, all of them, there is a free app of the week. So there's a free app of the week, and this week it looks to be a very strange app called Little Kitten. It's with this free app of the week, we highlight a great app at no charge, and Little Kitten is every child's dream. A cheeky, funny, adorable, must be an English app. A cheeky, because Americans don't know what I mean. Cheeky, funny, adorable little pet to take on a ride on an airplane, shoot some hoops, play hide and seek, and bed trampoline, or get creative with a new painting. But sometimes you get some really, really cool apps there. But here's the thing. A lot of the stuff in the App Store is below the scroll. You've probably heard of the phrase below the fold before with a newspaper. You've got it below the scroll. So you have to scroll down a little bit. And then when you scroll down a little bit, you will see the things that are inside of the App Store that are the apps of the week. Now, as I said again, one of the best places to find new apps is on the featured page. But I want to show you an app that came out last night. This is a really cool app. It came out last night. I fought with myself on whether I was going to show this app, but I said, this app is just too much fun. Have any of you ever watched the TV show Silicon Valley on HBO? Good. It's a nerdy show. And what was cool is, in that show, they actually invented an app in a TV show. And what HBO did is they actually brought the app to life. And it just came out last night. It's called Seafood. Have any of you ever used Pandora before, or Shazam, figure out what music is, or figure out anything like that? What this app does is it takes a picture of food and identifies what that food is. It's really quite a crazy app. I'm going to show it to you. Let me get it up on the screen. I'll show you what's going on. I got to do it with my iPhone. I actually brought some food. Now, you saw an app during the cloud class where I showed it with some food, but I wasn't going ahead and I was showing packaged food when I did this. This is a very cool app. It's called Seafood. I'm going to show you up on the screen what he does in just a couple seconds time. Come on, I brought some food. There we go. I brought some food, and what it is a camera. It's kind of an augmented reality camera right here. And it does something very cool. I brought some food here. I took it from the crew mess just to show you. What did I bring? Can't eat it, but I brought a hot dog. And when I take a picture, it will actually tell me that's a hot dog. Now you're just messing with me. Can't you do this with another type of food? So I also brought some Oreos. And if I take a picture of the Oreos, it says, not hot dog. So it's a perfect app for identifying hot dogs. You might think this is absolutely insane that I would show you this app, but here's what's cool. This app started as a joke on a TV show last night, and someone turned around and made that app and has an app that can identify accurately. See if I can picture. I don't think she's a hot dog. Look up at me here. Let's see if you're a hot dog. Nope, you are not a hot dog. But just think of the potential of that. If you can do that with a hot dog, think how easy it is to do it with all of these different things. And this is how apps get started. Apps all get started with an idea. And I have people come to me all the time and say, hey, I want to make an app. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to do that with an app. And apps are really, really quite cool. So what I want to share with you now are a couple of my favorite apps that are not hot dogs. Some of my favorite apps that are not hot dogs. Now, this first app I want to share with you is my mom's favorite application. It's called Dark Sky. It's available on iPhone, on iPad, on Android, DARKSKY. And here's what this application does. It tells you exactly when it's going to rain, exactly where you are. And a lot of you are going, how does it do that? It's using something called micro-location forecasting. So it's rain, sleet, snow, hail, anything like that, it will do that. Now, obviously, we're in the ocean right now, and we can't really tell where we are, but there's an interesting storm in Britton, South Dakota, B-R-I-T-T-O-N, South Dakota, and I can actually go in and I can view that interesting storm in Britton, South Dakota. And it's going to tell me that the rain is starting in 1 minute. As of right this second, it is actually not raining. It's actually not raining in Britain, but it would say it's starting in 1 minute, and then it's going to stop 2 minutes later, and it's going to start again 4 minutes later, and it's going to start 2 minutes later, and the accuracy is 100%. Here's the thing about this app, though. It only predicts the next hour of time. So it only predicts the next hour of time, but it will tell you accurately, with 100% accuracy, whether it's going to rain or not. So you can put in locations, but what's cool is it will actually notify you when there's precipitation. So if there's precipitation, you can show me down to the minute alerts before any rain starts at my location, or I could say light rain, moderate rain, heavy rain. And what's so cool is my mom uses this app. It's called Dark Sky. She uses it to take the dogs for walks during a hurricane. We live in Miami and we have hurricanes, and she's used it to take the dogs for walks during hurricanes for years. This is her favorite app because she has an Apple Watch, and it just dings on her watch and it says, hey, guess what? It's going to rain. The name of that one is called Dark Sky. Another application I want to show you, I actually want to give you something that I'm sure we've all seen multiple times before. Let me pull it up real quick. How many of us have a problem with spam mail? Junk mail? Let me go ahead and pull this up. So if you have a problem with spam mail, junk mail, I want to show you a really cool app called Unroll.me. I want it to go ahead and introduce itself, and then I'm going to show you how it works.
The first kit was free. It was 6 years ago. It saved me 15% on future purchases. It felt really good. So I did it again. The second newsletter wasn't good. I only saved 10% on a one-time purchase. But I signed up anyway. I don't remember the third, or the fourth, or the 74th, or even the newsletters I signed up for today. But boy, do they remember me. They email me constantly. My inbox is full of newsletters. Combine those with Twitter and Facebook updates, and sorting the good email from the crap is a full-time job. I actually missed the email saying I was fired, and the one where my girlfriend dumped me for spending too much time looking at email. But what can I do? If only there was a way to unsubscribe from the junk and keep the rest. If only I could consolidate all my newsletters into one digestible daily email. Then I could get back to the things that I really enjoy, like extreme couponing. Get your life back.
So this is a really, really cool application. It's called Unroll.me. Now, if you're looking for this on an iPad, when you search for it, you need to say that it's an iPhone application. But it's an awesome application, and it will get rid of all of your spam in your email. It works with all major email providers, and I want to show you how he works real quick. So what I have is it's going to show me everybody who would normally email me. And then what I choose, I've gone ahead and I've blanked out the emails so you can't see my emails, but it's showing me the sender, and I can choose in here, I sign in with my email address, and I can choose whether I want to unsubscribe and never see a message from that person again, keep it, it continues going to my inbox, or add it to what's called my roll-up. My roll-up is one email every day with all of my spam inside of it. Imagine you get one email with all of your spam inside of it. You've got that right there. So I can go ahead, let's say I don't want to get, you know when you buy something on Amazon, they ask you whether you like that thing you bought on Amazon or not? You just say, I don't need that person asking me that anymore. Anchor I like, Atlas Recall, not a fan of, and I can choose, and I just swipe one way if I don't want to see it, I swipe the other way if I want to keep seeing it. Don't care about that, don't care about that. I'm not going to do through all my email now. Oh, the first wearable alcohol monitor. Yeah, keep. But I can go in and I can get all this information from across my mailbox, and you just sign in. You don't need to make an additional account with this. You can sign in with your Gmail address, or your AOL address, or your Hotmail address, or your Yahoo address, and it will automatically categorize all of your spam and keep it out of your inbox, which is what's really cool. The name of that application is Unroll.me. Very, very cool application. Now, here's another one I really like. Now, I work on a cruise ship, obviously. And when I go home, for the first 2 years I worked on ships, I kept a car. And I kept a car, I was like, I'm only home for 2 months out of the year. So I needed to start using public transit. And it's actually quite interesting. I use public transit because there's no need to keep a car because I'm home for 2 months out of the year. And I was looking for an application that made life easy to use public transit and works all over the world. I use this in every location. I use it all over. It's a very, very simple name. It's just called Transit. And I go in, and right now it thinks I'm in Miami, and if I wanted to take this, it shows me exactly when the next buses are arriving, when the next trains are arriving, when the next subways are arriving. I've used this to get all over New York. I've used it to get all over London. I've used it to get everywhere in the world. It's called Transit. You can see bus number 3 to downtown Miami is arriving in 11 minutes, 26 minutes, and 44 minutes, to give you an idea. And I have right inside, I have one of my absolute favorite apps, which is Uber, right inside as well. If you ever go to St. Petersburg, one of the best secrets of St. Petersburg is Uber. It costs you about $1.50 to get from the terminal to the Hermitage. If you take a taxi, it'll cost you $50. If you take an Uber, it'll cost you $1.50. Because taxi drivers like to prey on tourists, and Uber is more designed for the locals, to give you an idea there. So it's actually cool, but you do need to have data to use an Uber. But this one's very cool because you can use this, you can bring them, and you can have them offline. It's called Transit. It's a really cool application. It can find where you are, or you can type in a location anywhere in the world, and it will go ahead and it will find you. I have 1 or 2 more apps to show you before we go into talking about Google Photos. Here's another one that's very, very cool. I like this one. Are any of you staying in London for a bit after the cruise? Anybody staying anywhere else? What other cities are you going to? Where are you going? Southampton. Portsmouth. So this is a great app. It's called, and I never showed this one, it's called City Maps to Go. And what it is a guide for cities all over the world. So you have a guide for cities all over the world, and the nicest thing about this application is it will work in airplane mode. Let's say that again. It will work in airplane mode. You don't need internet, you don't need cellular data, you don't need anything like that. You download this application. Now some of you may say, okay, Google Maps can do that as well. You might say, okay, Google Maps can do that as well, but the answer is Google Maps can't give you information on where you are. What's cool about this is when you download an area, it not only downloads that area, such as London, it also downloads all of the Wikipedia articles about that area as well. So you can walk to Big Ben and then read what's going on about Big Ben, what's the purpose of Big Ben, right in the same exact application, which is what's very cool. I can go in and I can do all of those other ones. Now I had a gentleman yesterday ask me about step tracking. Where is he? There he is. He asked me about step tracking. And what's cool is there is actually an awesome step tracking application for iPhones and iPads. You go, well, why am I going to track my steps with my iPad? You can actually carry around your iPad to track your steps with the iPad. But what a lot of people don't realize is these new phones actually have pedometers built inside of them. So they have pedometers built inside them, and the application I use is to make me sad because I don't have a lot of steps today. It's called Pedometer Plus Plus. And it tracks my steps over time. So you can see on Sunday, which was the day we were in Reykjavik, the first day in Reykjavik, I did really well. I did 123 flights of stairs. You're going, how do you do 123 flights of stairs? Because stairs are 10-foot rises in elevation. That's all stairs are. It's 10-foot rises in elevation while you're moving. So I did an incredible amount of stairs on the first sea day coming out to Iceland, because the ship was going like this. And I was moving forward. I did 200 flights of stairs because while moving, I moved up and down the equivalent of 10 feet 270 times. Just to give you an example, that's my record for stairs. 270 times moving around, but I can go in and I can use Pedometer Plus Plus and I can check my steps over time. You can see this was a week that I did a really, really good job, And these are weeks where I did. But I can go in and I've got that right there. That's called Pedometer++. The last thing I want to talk about here, before we go to Google Photos, because I think Google Photos is one of the most important applications that every single one of you have on all of your devices. But the last application I want to talk about is an application that's on the iPhones and the iPads. It's called Health. On Android devices, it's called S-Health. It's actually not on the iPads. It's on Android phones, and it's on Apple phones, and it says Health. And this is one of the most important applications. It's not an app you download. How many of you have used that app before? The Health app. Do you know the purpose of it? It's a repository for storing all of your information. So if I use seafood to figure out I've got a hot dog and I enter that in the app, it will actually tell me how many calories that hot dog is and everything else like that. But where this application gets cool, the Health application brings it all together. But there's one thing I want to make sure. If you have the Health application on your phone, go ahead and set up. I want you to open up the Health application. There's something called Medical ID in the bottom right-hand corner. This is the single most important thing you can set up on your device. If you hit to Medical ID, it will ask you to set up a profile about yourself, your birthday, your age, your allergies, an emergency contact, your height, your weight, all of these different things right on the device, and you're going, well, what is the purpose of that? You'll see that my name is Richard, my birthday is June 1st. I'm allergic to grass, chalk, and children. Not kind of children. I should just say other people's children. I don't know if I'm going to have children. But I go in and I've got my medical ID and I've got all this information on it. But what good is that is imagine that you have an accident and your phone is there. And someone wants to get into that phone and they can't get into the phone. And they don't know your code or anything like that. There's actually a button that says emergency. And if you find someone, say, passed out or unconscious or anything, and they have their phone, you can hit this emergency button, and you can make a call with their phone, but then you can click over where it says medical ID without needing the PIN or anything, and I can go in and I've got all of my medical information, my blood type, whether I'm an organ donor, all of these different things like that, and I can even, if I needed to, call my mom. Yeah, it's making sure what time it was in Miami. Or call my mom. Come on, Mom. Without ever unlocking my phone. Call Mom. You want to pick up, Mom?
Yeah, no.
She's like, no. Did I wake you up? I'm sorry. Yeah, I woke you up, didn't I?
I was trying to go back to the other phone got me up at 5:30.
Okay, I'm on the stage in the theater, so don't tell me about the dog pooping.
Hi, everybody. I can hear them perfectly.
Okay. Okay, Mom. Hello, Mother. I didn't say the key word, which is hello, Mother. Okay, I'll call you back later.
Bye.
And here's the amusing thing. Just so you know, I just did that while I was on airplane mode. Which is what's cool, because you actually have, and I'll go through this one more time, you actually have Wi-Fi calling built into a lot of the phones now. You have Wi-Fi calling, so you can go in and you can make calls over Wi-Fi. I wanted to show you a couple of apps before we got started, but today what I want to talk about is something I've been teasing. I did a small class about it. It's called Google Photos. It is by far the easiest way to make sure you back up all of your pictures and all of your videos across all of your devices, unlimited for free. But here's what I want to talk about. Before we go into it, why would Google do that? Thoughts? Well, here's the interesting thing. It can actually identify what a hot dog is, what pizza is, what a hamburger is, what all of these other things are with logic. But in order to do that, it needs data. It needs data. So they're backing up all of your pictures for free in order to make their artificial intelligence better. Does that make sense to everyone? I want to get that out of the open real quick. Remember those cars that used to drive by people's houses and take pictures of the front of people's houses and everything like that? What this is that's basically making you one of those cars with your phones. Google does not own your photos, Google does not own your videos, but they do own any information that they generate from those photos or videos. So, if I were to take a picture with this phone, which has GPS on it, and were to have my location, and you were to take a picture with a normal camera, which doesn't have GPS on it, they can use the background of the picture from this phone, the GPS location, to add a GPS location to your phone. Does that make sense there? To add a GPS location to your picture. Now, a lot of the pictures we deal with nowadays are digital pictures, but do any of you still have analog pictures sitting around? You know, pictures. So I want to show you, I actually have an analog picture of myself. Now this first app is actually from Google Photos. It's called PhotoScan, but I have an analog picture of myself right here. This is me. Aww. What a cute little kid. What happened? But I go in, and how many of you have taken a picture of a picture before? Almost everyone's done that. And what do we wind up with? Well, I wind up with a flash, and we get a little scar under my eye, and different things like that. Here's what's really cool. There's an application made by the same team that makes Google Photos called PhotoScan. And what it does is it will take scans of things in real life. So real life pictures, if you have art that's behind glass, you can actually use this to get art and shiny art and different things like that. I used this the other day to take a picture of a piece of artwork, but I can go in, and I've got my picture right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm using, this is not the camera app, this is the PhotoScan app, and I need to position the photos in the frame, and I take one picture, and then I move my camera, automatically takes a second picture, third picture, a fourth picture, gotta stay still enough, a fifth picture, and combines them all together into a single photo. Now, it's not going to look great on this screen. Actually, perfectly fine on this screen. It's not going to look great on that screen, but it'll look good on the side screens, and that's just as good as if you were to take it and scan it. And you can then take that photo and share it up to Google Photos automatically. But let's go ahead and let's talk about Google Photos a little bit in depth. How many of you are using iCloud to back up your pictures now? If you're using iCloud, you've probably gotten that message that says your iCloud has run out of storage space. Am I correct in that assumption? So we're paying 99 cents or $1 or $2 or $3 or a certain amount of dollars a month to get more storage space on our iCloud, correct? Now, how many of us that are paying for that storage space on iCloud are not fully Apple? Meaning we might have a Windows computer or other things like that. Am I correct in that assumption? You're not fully Apple. The nice thing is Google Photos is a full cross-platform solution that works on iPhones and iPads and Androids and Windows and Mac. Someone's going to have something that doesn't belong in that. What do we got? Anybody got it? Someone's got a Windows phone or a BlackBerry? Anybody? Okay, yeah, that's my friend with the Windows phone. I knew you were here. But what you can do is you can just move those pictures to your Windows computer and it will upload them. But I want to show you how you set this up because here's the thing. There's no great tutorials. I don't know any place in the world that teaches a Google Photos class. Now, if you have an Android phone, it is likely you already have Google Photos installed on it. Why would that be? Well, because on the Android phone, it's just called Photos. It's not called Google Photos, it's just called Photos. So it's an app that's just called Photos. On an iPhone or an iPad, you're just going to go to the search box, and right up there on the top, there's something that says Google Photos. I want you to be very aware. On iPhones and iPads, that companies can now buy ads in the App Store. So the first application you see is not normally Google Photos, it's Print-tacular. I don't even know what that is. But I can go in and I can hit open on Google Photos, and it's going to ask me a question. It's going to say, Google Photos would like to access your photos. Okay. Now this seems too good to be true. All your photos backed up safely, organized and labeled automatically so you can find them fast. If you had to describe Google in one word, what they do, what would that be? Search. So the whole goal of Google Photos is not only to back up your photos, which is something iCloud does, but to make it extremely easy to search them. Now, to use Google Photos, you would need to have a Gmail account. How many of us have a Gmail account? How many of us primarily use our Gmail account? Okay, that's a much lower number. Because what happens is a lot of people have set up a Gmail account at one point in time, but they're still clinging on to their AOL or their Yahoo or their Hotmail account. The good news is, Gmail will be your only option very, very soon. We're going to talk about the next time we get together. I'm going to show you how to move your stuff over from Gmail, from Hotmail, from AOL, from Yahoo, from Bell, from Shaw, from TELUS, from BT, from anywhere, over into Gmail. All of your contacts, your old emails, your folders, everything like that will be next time we meet at 1 o'clock in Central on the last C-Day. But for now, all you need to do is you'd sign in with your Google account, and you would go ahead and choose what way you wanted to back up your pictures, which is high quality. What's nice is the Google Photos stuff, everything I'm showing you right here, is written on some sheets on the doors on the way out. So on the way out, I've gone ahead and I have little handouts that'll give you an idea of exactly what we're talking about. And here's what's cool. Until right now, there are no photos or videos on my iPad. This is my work iPad. So I have my work iPad, and there's no photos and videos on my work iPad. But in a couple of seconds' time, all of my pictures are going to come down from across all of my devices, from my iPhone, as well as my Android, as well as my Windows computer, as well as my Mac. Everywhere I've gone ahead and installed Google Photos on, I will have my pictures from all the way across. This was from the crew buffet we had the other day. And here's the important thing. It is not taking up space on your device. When you synchronize things with iCloud, it copies full quality pictures across your device. Google Photos does not do that. It streams them as you need them. So you notice when I click on a picture, it's a bit lower quality, and then it will clear up. It's hard to see on there. It'll clear up on my phone, and it'll clear up a couple seconds later. Right on here, it's going to go ahead and it's going to go, whoop, and it will clear up. So it's actually streaming the photos across all of my devices. This is from the concert the other night, and I've got all of these pictures across all of my devices backed up. And here's what's great. If I have my Windows computer, and I have a problem, like what happened with 200,000 computers all over the world, at least I don't lose my pictures. Because my pictures are automatically backed up across all of my devices. So I've got it automatically backed up across all of my devices. And that's how I would set up Google Photos from scratch. But there's something that you've probably come into before. How many of you have run out of physical storage on your device before? Because you bought a 16 gig phone or a 30. Now, the nice thing is Apple's bumped the iPhones and iPads up to 32 gigs now, and 32 gigs is okay for most people, especially if you're going to use something like a Google Photos or another application like that. But I've got Google Photos. I can open it up. Let me turn it sideways so you can see it bigger. And you'll see I've got all of these pictures that are showing right here. Now, these are pictures that are on this device. If I wanted to clean up these pictures, what's very cool is I can go ahead, I can hit on this menu on the left-hand side, and I can say, free up space. Let me let it free up space. I gotta leave it for a minute to figure out what's backed up. But if I say free up space, it will free up all of the space on my device that's being taken up by pictures. Now on Android devices, you can put your stuff on an SD card. There we go, come on. Okay, so it says there are 7,590 items on my phone. I have a 256 gig iPhone. So I have 7,590 items that have already been backed up to Google Photos. Do I want to delete those from my phone? If I wanted to, I could hit yes if I need the space, and I would still have access to them across all of my devices as long as I had an internet connection. Does that make sense to all of us? So as long as I had a connection to the internet, I could actually have access across all of my devices to my Google Photos library, which is really, really cool. And not only do I have access here, I can search my albums, I can search everything, I can share pictures, I've got all kinds of different things that go across the Google Photos on my device. This will upload all of your photos and videos to the cloud, to Google's cloud, not the iCloud, to Google's cloud, automatically from across all of your devices. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. I had someone send me a message yesterday. They were in the UK. They got crypto lockered. They got this problem that they wanted $300 in ransom and everything like that happened. And they said, you know what, Rich? I was on the ship 2 months ago. I installed Google Photos, and at least my pictures and videos are safe. That's why I'm showing you this. So you download the Google Photos app and you do it. I want to take it a little bit further. I want to show you what actually happens with Google Photos once you've gone ahead and you've put all of your things inside of it. But I'm going to show you that on a computer. So I'm going to open up my computer, and I'm going to open up Google Photos, which is the website photos.google.com. Oh, I turned something off. Let me get that working real quick. So it's the website photos.google.com. I might show you on my phone. My laptop's dead. Nope, I don't want to play. Come on, laptop. I didn't switch, so there we go. So photos.google.com is the website for Google Photos. And this is going to give me access to all of my photos and videos from across all of my devices, unlimited and for free. And I can search my photos as well, such as, you know what, let's go ahead, just for humor's sake, and look for a picture of a hot dog. And I can type in hot dog, and what it's going to do is it's going to use artificial intelligence to search through all of my pictures. And I have, just so you know, all of my pictures, I have over 500,000 pictures and videos uploaded to Google Photos, and it's automatically going to find all of the pictures that I have of hot dogs. So I have a trip to Finland, I have Norway, and look, there's, oh, look at all the hot dogs. Hot dogs in a jar, hot dogs in a bowl, barbecue beef sandwiches it thinks are hot dogs. But I can go ahead and I can search for anything, and it will actually find me those things. And I can get really, really, really specific. So if I wanted to get really specific, I could go, I showed this one the other day, but I'll go somewhere a little bit different with it. I can go ice cream in Lisbon, and I can find ice cream in Lisbon. Now these are not Google photos. These are photos that are actually coming directly from my devices. So it's actually looking at all of my pictures, and it's going to find me pictures. I took a lot of pictures of ice cream in Lisbon on April 26th, because there we go. That's a lot of pictures I took of ice cream in Lisbon. That's the Copa Kiwi in Lisbon, Portugal, and it's automatically identified that. I did not tell it was ice cream. I did not tell it that I was in Lisbon. It automatically figured out, hey, that's ice cream, and hey, you're in Lisbon, and calculated that and figured that out. But I can even go in further, and I can add a person. Now, if you are from the US or Canada, you can go ahead and you can do facial recognition inside of Google Photos. If you are from the United Kingdom, due to child protection laws online, you cannot do facial recognition in Google Photos yet. So facial recognition is available if you're pretty much anywhere other than the UK. You can go in and you can see those. Now, if you are from the UK and you're taking a vacation to the United States and you happen to set up Google Photos inside the United States, can you keep the facial recognition on there when you get to the UK? It's just the original setup. I'm just giving you a hint there. You can go ahead and do it if you do set it up in the United States, but this has actually found pictures of me eating ice cream in Lisbon, Portugal, which is what's cool. So I have to install this on all of my devices, on my iPhone, on my iPad, on my Windows computer, or my Mac computer. I install it as well, and I sign in everywhere with my Google account, and it will automatically back up all of your photos and all of your videos from across your device. If you do it on your Windows or your Mac computer, when you install it on your computer, it's going to say, where are your photos? Do we know on our computer where our photos are? Everywhere. Good answer. In your My Pictures folder, I assume? Yeah. If you use a Mac, maybe in iPhoto or in Photos, it will automatically ask you, it'll say, hey, where are your pictures? And it'll go in and it'll find you some pictures. It's going to synchronize that across all of your devices. And the nice thing is, even if something like this crypto locker or something were to happen, I would have access to all of my photos and all of my videos across all of my devices, and it is linear. So the newest stuff is at the top, and the oldest stuff is at the bottom, and as I scroll, they will load. What's useful is that means it's not taking up any space on my devices. So as I'm scrolling and it's loading, it's only loading the pictures when I get to the locations of those pictures. Does that make sense? It's an awesome application. It is free. It is the only 5-star rated application I have ever seen on the iPhone and the iPad. But what I want to do for the last 10 minutes or so we have together is you got a question? Yeah? Awesome question. Let me go that. So let's talk about CryptoLocker. I'm going to open up the floor, but I want to let you know a little bit more about it, because I've read so much more about it. CryptoLocker is the actual technical term for what's happened to computers in the past, and in the past 5 days or so. If you were to get hit with CryptoLocker, your computer is fine, but your files are encrypted. So your files are encrypted, so the answer to the question is yes, you can delete everything and you can re-download it from Google Photos if you needed to do that. I had a problem with the hard drive where I actually re-downloaded everything from Google Photos to be able to do that. So CryptoLocker slash whatever they're calling it, the original name of this CryptoLocker, they're calling it WannaCry, they're calling it all these different things out there. But I had some questions about apps from different people the other day, so I'm going to open up to any questions about apps. Yes, I see now try and be loud, but I have good ears. Yeah. In the green shirt, yeah. Awesome question. I know where your question's going. If I don't answer it, you can come back. She said, I read that there's a 16 megapixel limit on uploading your pictures to Google Photos. Now, in high quality, it does have a 16 megapixel limit. Here's the thing. Most of our phones, it's designed for phones and tablets. You can do it from cameras as well. All our phones in this room primarily have 12 megapixel cameras. Now, I tried something. I uploaded a 42 megapixel picture that I took with my phone. And you're going, okay, Rich, how did you upload a 42 megapixel picture taken with a 12 megapixel camera? Because you know what's 42 megapixels? Panos are 42 megapixels. So panos are not 1 megapixel or 2 megapixels, they're actually 42 megapixels, just to give you an idea and how big a pano actually is. So when I take a pano, this is actually not a single 12 megapixel shot, this is 42 megapixels. Now what I did is after I took this picture, I took it straight off the camera and I took it to Costco and I printed it in 20 by 30, which it crunched it down to 16 megapixels, which is the biggest anybody would ever generally commercially print a picture that's taken in 20 by 30. I also put it on Google Photos, re-downloaded it from Google Photos at 16 megapixels and printed it by 20 by 30. I took both of them to all my neighbors down the street, they thought I was crazy. And I said, which one do you like more? And it was a split decision. There was very little technical difference. I've tested it myself, just so you know, to understand when you print an 8 by 10, it's only about 6 megapixels. And 8 by 10, the actual print is only about 6 megapixels. The major benefit with more megapixels is if you zoom in or you blow up a picture, you have more megapixels on the inch basis. Does that make sense to you in the back? Oh, those are about 12 to 14 megapixels, 3.5 megabytes. So you're perfectly fine. 12 to 14 megapixels. Yes, in the bottom white shirt, pink shirt. So on Gmail, you mean? On Gmail. That's an awesome question. He said, well, how do I prepare my phone for the next session on Gmail? Here's the important thing. And this is true for anybody who's using it. Do you see this blue mail app? If you have an iPhone or an iPad, you might have the Blue Mail app. If you have an Android phone, you might have a Samsung app that says Mail. Those are the absolute worst apps to use for checking your email. Why that is you might have had something from your email provider before that says, hey, we don't think that your password's right, or hey, we've got this wrong. It's not your password, it's that your email provider's locked you out for two-factor verification. And they can only do that, and you can only get around that if you use the Gmail app, or the Yahoo app, or the Outlook app, or the AOL app, or the Comcast app. So you should not be checking your mail, or your Gmail, or anything like that, in the Blue Mail app. If you're talking about Gmail, which is what we're going to talk about the other day, is you want to, the day after tomorrow, is you want to check it in the Gmail app, which is a free download on the App Store for iPhone and iPad. It's a pre-install on all Android phones. So we're going to talk about the Gmail app and how it sorts your things. Yes, in the stripes. Aha. When you use Google Photos, does it eliminate duplicates? The answer is yes and no. It will not upload duplicates, but it will not clean up your computer from duplicates, if that makes sense. So there are things, for Windows, there's one called Duplicate Detective. For Mac, there's one called Gemini that would remove your duplicates. Now, I had a big problem with duplicates, so what I actually did is I uploaded all of my pictures, about 750,000 pictures, to Google Photos. It then found only about 500,000 unique ones, and then I re-downloaded those 500,000 unique ones, and now I have a local copy. So the answer to your question is, it does not upload duplicates. If you free up the space on your phone, it will remove all the duplicates that have been uploaded, but for your computer, you still need to use another additional piece of software to remove duplicates from your computer. Yes? Follow up. Yep. It will not upload 3 copies. No, it will check all of those copies from each other. So if you're talking about duplicates in that way, you're fine. I'm talking about a folder on my Mac that's got multiple duplicates. Other Stripe, sure, yeah. Did you get it? Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know, let's try. Huh?
Will it carry over location and date?
Yes, of course it does. It carries over location and date, and there's something, I have a little pet peeve. Let me tell you about my pet peeve. Do any of you still put the date in the bottom right-hand corner of your digital pictures? Because I see people that do it all the time. Understand that all of your pictures have dates on them, so I can go ahead and I can type into Google Photos, Richard, which is me, in 2014, and it'll, not Rochard, can't type, R-I-C-H-A-R-D, 2014, and it will find pictures of me in 2014 because it's got the parameter of that date, and I can get, there we go, I guess I stole a hat from someone there. This is always really dangerous when I do this. This is both me and my mom. My mom will kill me when we were fat. Both me and my mom, 60 pounds heavier each. But what I have is I have all these pictures from me in 2014, and I can scroll through. Oh God, that's me wearing a Santa hat in 2014, so I can type in dates, or I can type in Richard 2014 Miami, and it'll find me in 2014 in Miami. So I can put in all kinds of variables. I guess I wasn't in Miami in 2014. That's very possible. I was on the ship for a long time. Other one, yeah, in the corner. I see your head.
How do I get my photos from a Microsoft computer?
Awesome question. And we'll probably end with that one. I'm going to show you this real quick. How do you get your photos from a Microsoft computer? What's cool is, as I said, I've left some sheets on the exits of the door, so it'll give you an idea on Google Photos. But what you need to get them from a Microsoft computer is you go to the Google Photos website, which is on the sheet, which is just photos.google.com, and there's an ugly little button right here that says App Downloads. And when you hit on that, it's going to download an app called the Google Photos Uploader. And what this application will do is it will ask you where are all your pictures, and it will upload all your pictures. I will see if I can show you real quick, because I am a very visual person. So I'm going to go ahead. So this is called the Google Photos Uploader. I've already installed it. You're going to sign in with your email. And I'm going to not type in H twice. Yeah, I know it doesn't recognize it. You're going to sign with your email and password, and then it's going to ask you, okay, where are your pictures? And for you, it's likely to be in my pictures folder or any different place that you would have there, or you can use external hard drives or flash drives or anything like that. You're going to define that, and we'll see if it signs in. It should sign in just a few seconds. And when we sign in, here we go. It's going to say, okay, well, where are your pictures? And you're going to define your location of your pictures. It's searching for where the pictures are. And for Windows users, it's in your My Pictures folder. It will automatically find folders in folders in folders in folders in folders. So if you have a My Pictures folder that's got 10,000 folders in it, here we go. On my Mac, it's saying choose backup sources. Google Photos will automatically back up photos and videos from these selected sources to your Photos library. And you just go in, you add your My Pictures folder, your drive you have it in, all of those different things like that. I'll take one more, that's all I've got time for, in the long sleeve pink.
Does that also work from my Android into my iPhone?
Of course it does, that's what I love. It's because I keep an iPhone in my right pocket and an Android in my left pocket, and no matter which one I take a picture on, I have those pictures across all of my devices.
But I'm not using my Android.
Yeah, so you're talking about your old Android.
Right.
Yes, so you install Google Photos on your old Android and it'll move those pictures over to your iPhone as well. So you've got them on your iPhone as well. And it'll work vice versa. It's really quite cool. Now, that leads us into what we're going to be doing next. So at 1 o'clock on the next C-Day in Celebrity Central, we're going to be talking about Gmail. Now, we've talked about Google Photos, talked about a couple different Google things, Gmail, Google Translate, Google Photos, all of these different things like that. The idea of Google is it reduces your switching cost. Now, I'm not talking about money. Now, you have an Android phone. Before most of you walked into this room, did you know that you could move photos between iPhones and Androids? Via, other than emailing them. I could send you, if I wanted to send my friend the other day, he said, well, you took some pictures of me during one of the classes. You were the one that said you took some pictures of me during one of the classes. I said, as soon as they uploaded Google Photos, I'll send you a link, and I forgot it. You sent me an email, and then what I do is soon, like 30 seconds after you sent me an email, I made a link, I sent him a link directly to my Google Photos. I don't need to attach pictures, I don't need to do anything like that. But the nicest thing about Google is you can use Google things from any device. I can pick up any single device, sign in with my Gmail account, sign in with my Google Photos account. Even though you can't upload from Windows Phone, you can actually view all of those photos on your Windows Phone. The next time we meet together, though, we're going to be talking about Gmail. And that's going to be on the next C-Day, because here's the thing, most of the email providers you have right now won't exist much longer. I'm going to explain why they won't, and why I do this in the last day, is you need to set up a Gmail account from home, because you need to get a text message in order to set up a Gmail account. So we're going to be talking about that on the next C-Day at 1 o'clock. Elsewise, on the way out, you will see some sheets on Google Photos that are on the chairs. I think they're still there. This has been Apps Class Part Number 2, just for our Captain's Club members. Have a great rest of your cruise. I will see you in DC London Central at 1 o'clock on the next C-Day. Bye!